Now, enjoy yourselves. Give all the attention to our speakers, and please put your hands together for our first speaker, Gabby Polici.
Hi, I'm Gabby. Thanks for having me today. I'm representing a company called Blockster, and we are a global platform for crypto projects and people who want to learn and discover and earn in this space. And today I'm talking about marketing for launch success. And my clicker's not working. I lost Anna. Mike, can you grab Anna? My clicker's not working.
Yes.
She has to minimize the... Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is turn to your neighbor, and I want you to high five or fist palm and say, "Hey neighbor, nice to see you. How's it going?" And tell your neighbor something that you're excited about today. What are you excited about today? Tell your neighbor. This is how we create community. This is how we collaborate and generate that collective energy so that we can explore together. Yay! Okay, so we're going to cover 3 things, and we have a short amount of time. I'm going to talk for maybe about 15 minutes. The first thing we're going to cover is cold start, problem, solution. The next thing is a marketing mindset shift, and then we're going to go through a few tactics and examples, and then we'll have a Q&A. But at any point when I'm talking, if you want to throw your hand up, if you want to shout out a question, this is very informal, so you can just jump in. So part 1, cold start problem. How do you get started from nothing, okay? This space that we're in, a lot of what we're doing has never been done before. We're building from 0 to 1. If you're familiar with the startup language, you're trying to acquire customers, you're trying to create network effects where your product or your service becomes more valuable to users as more people use it and create incentives for even more customers to sign up. So how do we do that? And how do we do that well, right? So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is think back to a time when you did something new, when you moved to a new city, when you started a new school, when you had to make some friends or get involved in activities. What's something that you did naturally or intuitively? Could someone just shout something out? What did you do? Have you ever moved? Have you ever started a new job? Tell me what you did.
Go to the playground.
Go to the playground. What did you do when you got to the playground?
Found someone to play with.
Found someone to play with. Approach them, right? Introduce yourself. Shared a game together. What else? What have you tried to get something started that was never started before? Come on, I know you got ideas.
Go to the library.
Go to
Read about it.
Okay, read a book about it. Do some research. Get informed. So we have these intuitive skills. We're social animals. We have these intuitive abilities to connect, to be resourceful, to seek out resources. These are ways that we're able to use what we already have naturally to move forward in this space. So in Web 2, go-to-market strategy is centralized, right? It generally revolves around sales and marketing teams that are pushing something on somebody. A strategy that focuses on generating leads and acquiring and retaining customers, okay? We're all familiar with this strategy, with this model. And in this model, the vast majority of value accrues to the platform itself rather than to the users. And so one of the things that we're all getting excited about is a new kind of marketing, which I'm going to explore in a minute. In Web 2, any action or activities that promote and sell products is called marketing. So it might include some brand development, some brand awareness, some market research, different kinds of content creation, advertising. You know, with the explosion of social media, a lot of that content is living on social platforms, and most of it is free, user-generated, and then leveraged for the company to make money, right? Not necessarily the content creator themselves. Well, Web 3 is flipping a lot of this on its head. So the go-to-market strategy in Web 3 is leveraging decentralized technologies, incentives, users, through tokens and investing in community roles to bring users into the role of owner, of stakeholder. This is very revolutionary. If you don't get this kind of fundamental ideology shift, then you're not really getting what's going on in this space. This is a major change that affects all the people that are involved in consumption, in creation. The outcome here is that stakeholders include not just customers and users, but also developers, investors, and partners. Okay, so now you're going to turn to your neighbor and tell them something in this space that you're excited about. You have 10 seconds. Turn to your neighbor, grab a neighbor, and tell them what is it about blockchain or crypto that excited about. Anything, a coin, a project, something you're excited about.
Your relationship.
Alright, so reel it back in. Okay, so what did we just do? What did we just do? Who can tell me what that activity facilitates? What is the purpose of connecting with your neighbor in this way, and how does this mirror what's happening in decentralized companies? Drayson, what do you think?
It's just genuine and it's authentic.
It's genuine, it's authentic, it's organic. We talk about organic followers, we talk about organic traffic. This is what's organic. What do you jump in?
I mean, it was kind of like a consensus mechanism of sorts. Like,
Right. It's shared knowledge, right? What happens is you end up kind of finding patterns in the group once people are sharing, especially if you're in a Discord, especially if you're on Twitter. You start to see what the patterns are in the conversation, what the shared values are in the community. Marketing in Web3 is about network effect. So network effect refers to the concept that the value of a product or service increases when the number of people who use that service or product increases. So this in Web2, an example of this would be like Uber, right? Number of drivers, number of users, the more we have, the bigger it gets. Or in Etsy, number of creators, number of buyers, the more we have, the more value we create. So cross-site networks effects refer specifically to the direct increase in value to users on one side of the network by the addition of users. So this is the model that we're celebrating in Web3, is people coming together to lift something up together. So now we're going to transition into how this marketing mindset, when you're thinking about what you're creating and selling what you're creating, what you need to do to shift your thinking in that process. So we're all familiar with the corporate structure. Some of us have spent more time in this structure than we wanted to. So in this structure, owner is commander, right? We have hierarchy here, and in the hierarchy, we have a chain of command, we have senior management, we have executives, we have employees. How many people love this structure? Woo! We love it? It makes us happy? No, it doesn't. Okay, so the disadvantages of this kind of a structure is that it's centralized, right? You have that centralized authority. It creates a lot of bureaucracy. You have to ask your boss, who asks their boss, and their boss's boss, and their boss's boss, right? We've been in these situations. It restricts collaboration, right? That sense of innovation and collaboration and people being messy. One of my favorite things about being in the crypto Web3 space is that it's kind of messy. You know, they use that analogy of the Wild Wild West, which is a fun analogy, right? Because you're making something out of nothing. This kind of model can cause managers to be territorial. Who's been in a work environment where it's competitive to the point of being backstabbing, gossipy, problematic, right? In that kind of a space, and creating communication barriers. How much transparency does the person who's fulfilling the task know about what the CEO's agenda actually is when you're in a structure like this? What's the transparency here, right? So these are some of the challenges that we're addressing with these new models. Now, this analogy is much closer to my heart. This analogy is Web3 owner as gardener. So moving into this space, we're thinking more of the owner of a Web3 business as the cultivator of a garden of plants rather than being the commander-in-chief. And I'm a permaculturist, and I spent 2 years working on farms and growing plants. And one thing that you know when you spend every day with your hands in the dirt and growing food from the ground is that nature has its own systems, right? Nature has a cooperative, inherent way of building. And when you think of yourself more as a gardener and less as a commander-in-chief, and you embrace this as being an architect of the garden, then what you're doing is setting conditions so that everyone can flourish, right? The outcome is not just about the success of the company, the outcome is about creating success for everyone, conditions for everyone to thrive, right? So how do we do that? How do we think of ourselves as a gardener in the Web3 world? Well, the two most important things are purpose and community. And how many of you are currently participating in a purposeful community now in Web3? Are you in Discord? Are you on Twitter? Are you in some, right, exactly. So shout out some of the qualities of being in that community that keep you engaged. Why are you going back again and again to your community? What are you getting?
They say good morning to me every day.
They say good morning to you every day.
Oh my God.
You feel recognized, you feel validated, you feel seen, you feel belonging. What else? Fun, it's fun, right? The people share your humor or they share your passion, right? So you feel that connection with people. What else?
Decentralized stimulus.
And tell me what that means to you.
It means that you log on and you don't know what you're going to see, but it'll be the pulse of what's happening in the market.
Right, so you get to stay current on what's going on. You feel informed, right? You feel that sense of relevance, right? And the decentralization, what does that mean to you when you say decentralization? Like what is that experience for you in a space? Can you feel it? Can you feel that your contribution is valuable when you're in those spaces? What do you think?
It feels like free, like a type of freedom.
A type of freedom that you don't get in that hierarchy, right? So much of that hierarchy is about compartmentalization, about staying in your lane. You're not in your lane, Janet. Get back in your lane, right? And this is about there's no lanes, right? We're in a garden, so we don't have to do that. One of the companies that rose to prominence is Zappos. A lot of you are probably familiar with Tony, who developed this company. And he was selling shoes, right? Like, we've been selling shoes for thousands of years. Selling shoes is not the most interesting thing in the world. But Tony made it fun. He made it super fun. He used wow through service. He had customer service agents and he said, I don't care if you spend 3 hours on the call with the customer, as long as you give them the best shoe service they've ever had in their life, right? He embraced and drove change in the company. Tell me how you want us to innovate, how you want us to move forward. He created fun and weirdness. People had nicknames, they had dogs in the office. He encouraged being adventurous and creative. Encouraged them always to be learning and growing, so there wasn't that stagnation that you have in a lot of those corporate structures. A lot of open and honest communication, positive team and family spirit, doing more with less, being passionate, determined, and being humble. These were the commandments that Zappos used to create, like, you know, multi-million-dollar brand of selling shoes. That's all they were doing, but they weren't selling shoes, right? It was the experience. And this was still within a centralized format, right? It wasn't decentralized, so not all of the stakeholders were benefiting, but he got the value system right. So shout out to me what some of your values are currently. You mentioned some of them already. Freedom, fun, what else? Values. What do you value? Why do you buy? What is it?
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Authenticity in expression, right? And showing up as who you are. What else do you got?
Transparency.
Transparency, right? This is so much of what crypto is about. This is so much of what this space is about, is we're sick and tired of not knowing what the bank is doing with the money, right? We're sick and tired of not knowing what the leadership's agenda actually is, or who's bribing who, or what corruption is going on. We want to know. What else do we value? Why are we playing in Web3? What do we value? Why are we in this space?
Opportunity.
Opportunity. How many of us in this room want to create a better future than the present that we have right now? How many of us want the world to be better than it is right now? Yeah, fuck yeah. That's what we want. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so now we're going to transition into some tactics and examples, right? Who's better at self-promotion than Elon Musk? Right? Nobody. Right? When you create a powerful, influential brand, you're going to get some traction. I'm going to explore 3 different ways that you can get some traction with currencies. One of them is called airdrop. Is everybody familiar with what an airdrop is? Kind of, sort of? Somewhat. Okay. So airdrop is when a project distributes tokens or users to reward certain behaviors that the projects want to incentivize. So maybe you have a Discord channel, maybe people are helping to write the newsletter, maybe there's developers doing, you know, programming on the back end, and you want to reward and you want to incentivize, okay? So this is one form of creating that sense of community. community and incentive that you can use. And it really helps you start that problem that we talked about in the beginning, like going on the playground and asking somebody to play with you, right? This is one of those ways. You're offering the kid on the playground a lollipop to play with you. Another thing that we see as like a popular tactic in this space is viral images. Do you guys know how much this image sold for as an NFT? Who knows? Anybody know?
Everybody does know.
Yeah, $500,000. $500,000 it's sold for. So memes are a great, short, concise way to share information, and given how complex cryptocurrency is and how complex the Web3 environment is, this really streamlines it and allows you to feel a sense of community and goodwill and get a lot of information in a short and concise way. The third tactic we're exploring is developer grants. So I mentioned here DAO Match. A couple people I heard talking about DAOs here when we were doing the intros. So there is unlimited money in this space. How much money is, look, this is a $2 trillion industry right now, okay? There's trillions of dollars in this space that you can access if there's something you want to create or build, right? So look for ways to get grants, to get money, to do the thing that you're dreaming about doing. I'm providing 3 examples here of projects that I think are pretty interesting and have had a lot of success. Lucky Block is an alternative to the traditional kind of lottery process. It's decentralized, it's transparent, and it's global. And they got a lot of traction, and they've had a lot of success. Shiba Inu coin, does anybody know this coin? So I know we're at a shitcoin conference, so you guys are probably pretty familiar with all the different kinds of coins. This came out as an anonymous coin by a person named Ryoshi, much like Bitcoin and Satoshi, and we don't know who the creator is, but it's an altcoin to Dogecoin. So we were talking about Elon Musk, right? Having personality behind your project is powerful, and it's a great go-to-market strategy. It's not a solution for a company or strategy or a business, but it's a good way to get some traction, get you off the ground, and this project is one that has been really successful. Decentraland. Anybody playing in the metaverse?
Oh, yeah.
Woo! My coworker Jason threw his birthday party in the metaverse, and he had 200 people from all over the world come to his party, and he was able to DJ and celebrate in a virtual environment. They've been hugely successful. They have a mono cryptocurrency that you can invest in. All right, shout out what projects you're interested in. We have 2 minutes left for me to play with you. What projects do you love that are happening right now in the space? Give me a coin. Give me a
Nifty
coin.
blocks.
What is it?
Alien worlds.
Say it again.
Nifty blocks.
Nifty blocks? Nifty blocks. What is it?
Rising stars.
Rising stars. And what was the other one you said?
Alien worlds.
Alien worlds?
Yeah.
Alien
We just
worlds.
shout back stuff out.
What else?
Pocket.
What is it?
Pocket Network.
Pocket Network. What else? Banera? Banero.
No, it's Anna.
Banero. I don't know how much stuff there is.
You know Ryoshi?
Yeah.
He just created a new coin. It's called Shiba Predator.
Shiba Predator. All right, amazing. Okay, what is Blockster? Blockster is Gabby. Gabby is Blockster. Gabby and Drayson work at Blockster, and in Blockster, this is what we're trying to create a space where you can avoid the crypto ban that's happening in Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can post anything you want here. You can post Shibu Predator if you want to post it on here. You can create a project page, you can create a profile. We have marketing services to support you because we love you and we want to play in this space with you. And that's it. Get in touch with me. I have free t-shirts to give away, small, medium, and large on the side of the stage. If you want to come see me after, I can give you